Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha, and today I'm having Greek yogurt, almond butter, frozen blueberries. Alright, let's talk about stimulus to fatigue. And I think that people will need a context for this when we talk about these things and we talk about hypertrophy. Because again, hypertrophy being extremely critical for maximum strength. Something I've covered here a lot. There's enormous amounts of evidence for it. And there really shouldn't be a disconnect in your brain between the idea that the more hypertrophy you have, the stronger you're going to be, right? Or at least the higher your strength potential is going to be, your strength ceiling. Shouldn't be a controversial topic. Don't have time to cover all that here again. But when it comes to hypertrophy, we know that we're usually battling against two different things. We're battling against how much stimulation can we create, right? How much training stimulus, how much mechanical tension, how many times can we subject a muscle to it, how many effective reps can we get? Again, recruiting and exhausting muscle fibers. And we have to counter that with fatigue. In other words, how much does it beat us up? And when we're talking about fatigue, a lot of people are saying, well, the mechanical tension fatigue at the local level, at the level of the muscle, the individual muscle and tendon. But the overall fatigue we're talking about is systemic, right? How much are we beating up the whole body? And if we're going to train with a relatively low volume, we can get good hypertrophy stimulus without thinking about the fatigue end. It becomes less of an issue. But we know we come back over to maximizing hypertrophy. Well, this stuff matters, doesn't it? In other words, we could come in and just train big movements. If we're going to keep our volume relatively low, we could probably train big movements, and yes, they'll beat you up. You do a bunch of squatting and deadlifting. You'll get bigger. It's going to beat you into the ground to do it that way. To do enough of those to create the hypertrophy we might be wanting, you're going to get really beat up doing that. Okay, you're going to have more problems on the recovery end. You're going to need more sleep, more rest, possibly more magical supplements, and you guys know what that means. Not over-the-counter stuff. And again, it becomes problematic. You can do it. And it may not be that bad. If you're keeping your overall training volumes low, it may not matter that much. But if you're keeping your volumes low, you're also not maximizing muscle growth. So when I make exercise suggestions, it's in this context that we are trying to get relatively high volumes of training. We're trying to be in that 10 to 20 set per week for each muscle group. And this becomes more important as we start getting closer to that 20. It matters a lot more. So examples would be, I'll give you guys some examples. And again, when we talk about tension, a lot of people forget weight on the bar for different exercises doesn't always mean more tension. Okay? Weight on the bar or the dumbbell for a given exercise and range of motion determines the tension. So some people say, well, there's more tension on a back squat than what you recommended. Well, there isn't. Not on the quads, not on the adductors. And if we use the logic that just the weight moved is more tension, then a leg press beats a squat. And we know it doesn't. So examples. Single leg exercises. Split squats, which you guys know I like to do. I like step ups and other stuff too. Split squats. If we do a split squat, how does that compare? Like take me for example. I'm doing sets of 10, like 85 pounds, 90 pounds, whatever, per hand in a dumbbell. And I can do 10 reps. And that takes me pretty close to failure for things like my quads and adductors. And it hits glutes too, because a split squat works all of the same muscles as primary movers that the squat does. Now people say, but the back's not being worked as much. That's true. How much hypertrophy is your back getting from a squat though? It's getting a lot of fatigue. There's better exercises to build the back. We could do good mornings, reverse hypers, back extensions, rows, chin-ups, pull-ups. We can do a lot of stuff to build the entire back. It's a lot easier on your body than back squats. And we need to be doing those things anyways, because some of them work the back way more effectively. So let's focus on the primary movers, which are adductors, glutes, quads. And if you go to a wider stance, probably in that order. So, doing a single leg exercise like that. Okay, how much weight would I need on a back squat? With me personally, to do that, I don't know, over 400 pounds. We want to say 415, 420, 430. That's what I have to do for sets of 10 to get the same level of stimulus, for my muscles to get the same amount of work. Well, which one's going to beat me up more? If I do 3 sets of 10 with split squats, it's going to tax me cardiovascularly, because I've got to do 20 total reps in a set with my legs, move my body through space. I might need to be in shape. It's not going to beat me up. 5 minutes after, I'm not going to be feeling it. I do 425 for 10 on a back squat, 3 sets of 10. That is an enormous amount of fatigue that I have to recover from. And I'm going to be feeling that fatigue the next day. Do we see the difference now? Way more weight. When we come over to the split squat, my fatigue itself is lower. But as far as my adductors, glutes, and quads are concerned, I did the same amount of stimulus. That's a big example. We could do the same thing with deadlifts, doing conventional deadlift off the floor. What do I have to do probably for sets of 10, me personally? I don't know, 440, 450 for sets of 10 to get good quality reps in. What am I going to feel like after 3 sets of 10 of that? I'm not going to want to do anything else. What if I do a Romanian deadlift? Taking it through a full range of motion. Now people say, well, you get less quad and more hamstring. Possibly. How much weight am I going to use? Maybe 350? What about if I did a pause deadlift? Which again, now we're dealing with the same range of motion, but then we're dealing with specificity. All right, for that pause. Still going to do close to 100 pounds less. Which one's going to beat me up more? The normal conventional deadlift. Back, let's come over and compare any of those. What if I did 3 sets of 10 on split squats, plus either 3 sets of 10 on Romanian deadlifts or pause deadlifts? I can do all that and still have more energy and think I can do more training. I'm not going to be destroyed from that. I'm going to be fatigued, but I can continue to do other exercises, and I'm not going to have DOMs tomorrow. I'm not going to feel beat up. Do that with a conventional deadlift or a back squat. See where we're going? All right. How about rowing? How about a chest-supported row versus a bent-over row? Dramatically different weight. I've got big lats. Everyone agrees on that. I mean, I can pen leg row 240 strict for sets of 10. I could probably do standing barbell rows, bores, bent over rows. I'll have to strap up to do it this way. Probably do 315 for 10. Chest supported row like a seal row. Same amount of back work, but with no cheating, to maybe 160 pounds. And it's equivalent. We're getting the same stimulus. Same thing for chest. Bench press versus dumbbells. Back, I'm getting a deeper stretch. We're getting that tension. We come over to mechanical tension. A lighter weight may give slightly more mechanical tension on the pectoral because of the deeper stretch at the bottom. This is what we mean by looking at stimulus to fatigue for our supplemental work. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.